All right. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Welcome back, everybody. JL Scott Fishing here. Smallie Chaser River Bassin series. Really excited. We kicked off the beginning on Sunday, October 1st, for the first ever monthly in the series to get things started. And we're just like really excited about it. The word's starting to spread around. Pretty great. It's a brand new series. You know how it is. It's the fall. And it's a lot harder. I mean, I had a lot of people tell me that, it wouldn't be good, impossible to do, bad time to do it. You need to start it in the spring. And we just really decided to roll it out in the fall because a lot of us Smallie chasers, that live the Smallie life, this is when we're fishing. I'm getting ready to go out and fish this morning. It's already in the mid 50s now. The water's falling way down, both in temperature and back in depth, water depth in my area anyway. So I will be out on the Monocacy today. So if you're out and about, you get this video, you're listening to the car when the time comes and you're commuting to work this morning, and you hear this and, you want to get out there on the water and you want to get out on the river at lunchtime or you want to get out on the river after work, chances are I'm going to be out there. And I'm really looking forward to it. And that's really what this series is all about. It's exploring all the water and the river systems that we have in our region that are some of the best smallmouth river systems in the country, right? And so when people talk to me about, hey, you need to schedule this place and this lake and this reservoir and this lake and this lake. No, we don't. Okay, we have enough rivers in our region. We do not need to schedule any lakes or reservoirs. For fishing, because we live the Smallie life. We like the skinny water. We like river bassin. That's what we're all about. That's what this series is about if you're just tuning in for the first time. So yeah, 34 anglers registered up on Sunday to start the series. I'm pretty stoked about that. Didn't know what to expect. I mean, it is October. A lot of stuff going on, a lot of moving parts, a lot of people, this time of year. And so we had 34 people with 34 fish caught. So think about that. I mean, obviously we had a blowout day for Troy Wines with his fish count is at 18. So I want to do this really quick update video, prize pack video. Okay, so we're going to award 2 prizes. Okay, for day 1. But I really just want to give you guys an eye of the back end, okay? The back end of Tourney X for a tournament director or judge or, any of the behind-the-scenes stuff that you never really get to see that no one ever really shows you, okay? And we're a different series, so we want to change things in the community, okay? So we want to be a disruptor, okay, and change things, okay, to where we would like to see them be. And one of those things is transparency. So you can kind of know what's going on, and I'll do these videos periodically. I'll do a live session of where I'm judging fish, okay? So you can actually see what it's like on my end to judge your fish, okay? What I see, how I judge it, what I look for, the 4 points, okay, of everything, your location and everything, and how I judge it, okay? And so you can get an idea. And that only helps you, okay? And that's what October and November are all about, okay? October and November are all about getting everybody into the series at a free monthly that has a kayak that's going to be fishing the river systems in the region this fall, and gain the experience of using this submission on Tourney X, knowing the ins and outs, knowing how that works, being able to begin to strategize, begin to plan, begin to get situated. A lot of people have never put, a Smallie on their lap on a catch board in this kind of a setting, like an environment. So this is all new, to give everyone a chance to get figure that out, learn the best ways that are right for them. One thing you'll learn about Smallie chasers we are very different in that we kind of do our own thing. Like there are things that are unorthodox. There are things that most people would probably think were, just different and you can't catch fish like that and that kind of stuff. But we just do our own thing, okay? And how we like to fish is different. A lot of times the baits we like to use and how we like to present them is different. Sometimes our equipment is different. We definitely go places that are different. And so that's what's really, really exciting about, introducing people to a series that's smallmouth only and river bassin only. Okay. And how they all set up. So this is kind of what the back end, it's a my dashboard and Attorney X is what it looks like. You see on the screen. It's got basically, for Sunday, day one, our day one prizes, okay, are for total fish, okay? So total best 5 total fish as well as biggest fish, okay? Biggest smallie caught day one, okay? And so it's interesting that right out of the gate we get a little bit of a little teachable moment of where we can like understand how the series and what the series rules and everything are going to be, because we had a tie. We had a tie for big fish. Okay. So how do we determine a tie, right? Even though it says it on Tourney X, not everybody reads through everything, and I'm sure that not everybody read through all of the kayak bass fishing got rule standards. Okay, and may have not be familiar with KBF at all. May not have ever tuned into any kind of trail series or anything like that. And so it's important to understand, and this is what October and November are all about. So hopefully we can get these things to where, okay, there's an example, and this is how we determine the outcome. It makes everybody on the same page, everything transparent in that regard. So on Sunday, we had 34 fish caught, okay? And here's how it looks, all right? So this is the standing, Smallie River Bassin Series standings. This is how it comes back on the back end, okay? And then it comes down and it shows you the totals, and it ranks basically the standings of the current monthly in progress. And right now, we have 34 anglers registered up. Not everybody. I think only 4 or 5 people fished yesterday. I know one person I don't think has registered yet. Remember, right now you have 2 days to register, okay? But here again, incentivize things, okay? Something that other trails are not doing that we are doing. We are going to give a prize packs away like we did for day one. If you didn't register, if you caught fish yesterday, but you're not going to register it for today or tomorrow, you do have 48 hours to register, okay, based on your timestamp. You're not part of the day, this particular prize pack. So again, incentivize getting your fish registered as soon as possible. Why are we incentivizing that with like prize packs, okay? So in 2024, when you're fishing a single day tournament or a multi 2-day overnight tournament or anything like that, you've gotten in the habit of registering your fish the day you catch them, okay? So it's not a foreign thing to you when you go from doing a October, November, December, February, March monthly, and then you go to try to do a single day event, okay? So the whole purpose of that is your fish are all still going to count, but you just aren't in the running for the prize pack that supporting partner set up for day one, okay? And we have about a dozen now. I got to update. I'll probably update tonight because I do have another call today. A dozen or so supporting sponsors that are all going to sponsor different things, different prize packs, different things throughout the month. Okay. And so it's not just fish all month and at the last day of the month, there's going to be, the guy who wins the monthly wins everything. That's not how it is in this series. You have an opportunity to win throughout the month. Okay. In different areas. And October, we'll begin to demonstrate that. What we call social proof, right? We'll begin to demonstrate that. And then people will get more excited about getting out there and fishing more and getting their fish logged in and all of that stuff. Okay. So really, 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 really cool. Now, day one, we actually had an addition. So I do not have that with me, but we do have an additional will be included in the prize pack. Okay. Because day one, we have day one prize pack was sponsored by Retribution. And so they are soft plastic hand poured swim baits. Okay. Crazy, crazy sick swim baits. All right. If you guys see my latest video, I did on YouTube about probably a week or so ago, you get an idea of the kinds of swim baits that are, and these are boom swim baits, okay? Different size swim baits. So the prize packs for the Sunday prize pack to also include Adam, who was in our series, is also throwing in some of his crazy sick jigs. Okay. And I'm not sure if it's going to be, maybe might be some of the tubes too. We'll see. But I'm going to throw that into the pack. All right. Or I might get that to you second, and I'll get these out as soon as possible. So when you look at this, you've got Latroy Wines that's sitting in the park spot. It has your fish count, right? And what does that matter? Okay. It's your best 5, right? But remember, there's no minimums in this. Okay. No minimums. I think the smallest one registered yesterday was 9.25. Okay. We had a 9.25 and a 9.75. All right. So important. All right. This number is important. Okay. It is not just, obviously, your best 5 score. Okay. Because Tourney X will take your best 5 and call out every time you surpass that. But this fish count total also for the month has prize packs and awards. Okay. So you may not finish in the top 3 or 4 in the series for the month in length, best 5, but you could win the monthly in terms of fish count. How many fish you actually caught and registered on Tourney X. So that's what the fish count means when you see that, when you're looking at Tourney X on your side, is register all of your fish. Okay? It's important. All right? Because you can participate in that and walk away. And you don't know what that prize pack could be. It could be a rod. It could be a rod. It could be gear. It could be swag. It could be gift certificates, gift cards. It could be anything. Okay. So don't think like, necessarily, okay, that prize packs are created equally, right? You know what I'm saying? It really depends on who's the sponsor that's going to sponsor that prize pack, right? And the fact that you don't know who that sponsor is, right? And so that's what's great. That's what creates the incentive for you to register all your fish, okay, and to battle it out for that, as well as register. You got your Smallie future coming up, which is the smallest fish of the series. Obviously, big Smallie of the series. And so let's talk about that. Okay, so we know obviously based on day 1, Troy Wines, Lynchburg, Virginia. 83 inches, and right behind him, Zach Hammersmith with 79.5. Rich Durr at 59.50. Chris Fram, 33.25. And then Thomas Cox with 30.5. So we had 5 anglers thus far register fish. And what's unique about that is it's virtually all different rivers. And so that's what's awesome and that's what the series is all about. That on the opening day, we basically had 5 anglers going to 4 different rivers, okay, and fishing. And that's what really gets me pumped up and stoked about it, okay, because it really gives everyone the opportunity to fish in this series. With a river nearby them, they're not having to drive 2, 3, 4, 5 hours to compete in an event that, that only has like a dozen anglers in it or something. And, they can just go and fish at their convenience at their time, before work, after work, on their lunch break, on the weekend, in the evening, in the morning, when it's convenient to them and they can get in. Because that's really the point. The point is to get people with a Smallie life and a Smallie mentality to think about, when can I spend some time on the water and get away and get out there for myself, spend some time for myself. Okay. Just to get away from the stress and everything that happens. You guys know how that is. And that's what's really the beauty about the series. Or in any monthly. I mean, KBF is like that right now. KBF just finished their Smallie Summer Series. Shout out to Troy for that. I think he finished in the top 3. Top 3, I think. Definitely top 5. Top 3 in the country. Okay? Remember, our monthly series is our region. Okay? So that affords you the opportunity that you can go ahead and go on KBF right now, register for the Kayak Bass Fishing Smallmouth Fall Series, which will run through fall until like late December, I think. Mid-December, something like that. You can fish that. I think it's $25 to fish that series on KBF. And simultaneously, you can register for this series. It's free. And log the same fish. And this series will allow you to see how you're doing against anglers in your region versus, say, Minnesota, which I think won. Minnesota or Michigan won, I think, the smallmouth. So you had a guy in Lynchburg, Virginia, okay, fishing in Virginia against guys in Minnesota and Michigan and Maine, okay, and in the north, what the North is supposed to have, footballs, right? And yet we have Virginia guy finishing the top 3, 4, or 5, right? That's a huge thing, okay? It kind of starts to dispel some of the myths, okay, about Smallie fishing. That's what we want to do in this series, okay? We want to highlight our rivers. So we want to highlight why our region is the best region in the country, okay, on balance. Multiple river systems with smallmouth bass, okay? Yes, there are the St. Lawrence River, okay? Yes, New York can be tough to beat, okay, for sure. But on balance, the numbers, dozens of quality areas in different river systems for smallmouth bass. So when we talk about big Smallie, Biggie, we had two 18.5s, okay? And I'm going to post this up on Facebook so you can kind of see what it looks like as I took the snapshots. But just like KBF, and I had confirmation too, because, again, October, new for everybody. Let's make sure we're all on the same page. Reached out to Chad Hoover, figured out how does KBF really handle on big fish, right? For their Trail Stop series, which is a in-person two single day events, right? And they give out a big fish award. And if it's a tie, how do you break the tie? You break the tie by timestamp. It's on Tourney X on our information page too on our registration. So again, if you look at the timestamps on this, which I will show on Facebook, both Troy and Zach had an 18.5, the two biggest fish of the series so far. Zach wins the prize pack for Big Smallie Day 1. Again, sponsored by Retribution Baits, because he submitted his 18.5 first. That's it. That's the tiebreaker. Okay, doesn't matter when. It's been a question was kind of raised, and I kind of understand it. There's no distinguishing factor between when you fish in the series. Okay, but obviously, if you fish in the morning, early in the morning, and you get an 18.5, and somebody else fishes in the afternoon or maybe after work, and they get an 18.5, again, it's at how it goes in that 24-hour period. Okay. It's a tiebreaker. It's the only real easiest way for Tourney X, and I will show you here in a second. Tourney X does it automatically as well. So when we scroll down here, you can see how we've got people that have not yet fished yet. Again, it's only day two. We've got 34 registered up, and I had 2 people messaged me this morning. They're registering today, so we should probably be at 36 by the end of the day. So you've got by hourly weigh-in, okay, which is another factor that we'll get into, and I will announce on one of the days. I can pick a random Saturday, okay, a random Saturday in the month long to be an hourly weigh-in prize pack day, which means we can award prize packs for everybody who won the hour, okay, for whatever hours we pick, okay, depending on how many prize pack awards we have. We may combine it into 3-hour periods, 3-hour windows, or whatever we'll do, and we'll announce that. But it just gives you an idea of showing you the hourly weigh-in, okay? And here you have Zach weighing in his 18.5, and then Troy weighing in his 18.5. So Zach weighed in his between 11 and 12. Troy weighed in his between 1 and 2. Okay, registered at camera shot, camera timestamp, registration up to Tourney X. Zach becomes the winner for that prize pack. So they both win prize packs, and they finished 1-2 yesterday in day 1. But it just kind of shows you. But had anyone else gotten an 19, or an 18.5 before Zach, because Zach logged it at 11 a.m. That fished yesterday, they would have won the daily big fish, okay? Because here you go. It puts it right there. Because it automatically pulls the timestamp from like fish, 18.5. Tourney X already pulls the timestamp Zach Hammersmith, Lynchburg, Virginia, 18.5. And so that's how the back end looks, okay? Just for standings, all right? Not for judging. I'm going to do a video on the judging part probably on a Saturday. I might do a live stream on a Saturday. I'll actually talk to you guys in the community, and you guys can hit me up. Because if it's a live stream, you guys are probably going to be out on the water, and you're not really going to be able to see it because it's going to be live, okay? So I may do it recording it while all the fish are coming in, and then just load the video up so people can watch it later. I mean, if it's a live stream, you can watch it later as well. Just watch the replay. That can work too. But whatever, but anybody wants to do. But this gives people an idea of what it's like to have the fish come in, and how you judge it, and how you can look at the points, and how you can flip the picture. You can look at things. You can make sure that the fish is not a multi submission. Make sure there's no penalties. In that regard, that need to be addressed. And I will say this to everyone in the series: I am not like, look, the whole point of this, is obviously to be out on the river and catch fish, right? Because we all love to catch fish. The point's not to ding people. It's not to DQ people. It's not to remove people's fish from the board. It's not to do any of that as long as we don't have to. So I highly encourage you to snap more than one picture, okay? If you only have one picture, then there's not much I can message you, okay, if there's an issue with your fish. One thing I will say, and I did, if you were involved in if you fished yesterday, you may have gotten a comment on your fish submission that would go, I believe it goes right to your email. It's kind of like a warning. It's not really a warning. It's just like a point of order very, very close, okay? And that's pinching, okay? We really, really do not want to have people pinching tails, okay? Even remotely appearing to pinch tails, okay? Because it's just optically, it's just bad. It's bad for the angler too. If what happens if that's a big daily big fish or a big fish or a citation, and we want to publish that with our sponsor, supporting partner of the day, and then we get a whole bunch from the community. Well, that's that guy's pinching the tail and it's getting a little bit more than he should be. So you definitely are keeping your hand off the tail, but you also want to stay 2-3 inches in from that tail, and it really should be this part of your hand, okay, not this part, okay. It just sends that out. I know people don't intend. Most people, I'm not gonna say no. Most people, 99% of people, it's not an intentional act. But there have been issues of that, like pinching in the community before. So you just want to make sure that you go around KBF and you look at the hand placement. You want to put your hand middle. Okay, you don't want to be touching the gill plate. You don't want to be touching the tail. You want to keep your hand in the middle. Most of the pictures yesterday were no hand at all. And I'm like, that's just like a no-brainer. I mean, that's just the best way to do it. But these are Smallies, okay? And anyone who's had them pump off their board, they know that, it's tough sometimes. We got a little cooler weather. This aspect's not in the rules, but we've got a little bit of cooler weather. We'll get more into fish care going into next year in terms of when we'll get through the spring and late in the summer the haunt of just brutal weather, of how we want to care for our fish and make sure we dip our bump board, make sure we dip our catch boards, especially if you're using the metal catch boards into the water before you actually, in different techniques from different anglers. Like there are anglers who will leave their smallie in their net on the water, in the water area. It keeps them, kind of calms them a little bit. There are different techniques that a lot of the experienced guys in the series, and most of the guys are willing to share that information, especially if you're new and you're having trouble getting your fish registered and scored, on your catch board. So that's an important component is education. Okay, conservation and education, taking care of our fish so they're there again for somebody else to catch. Okay, we are catch photo release. Okay, in the single day event series, in the single and multi-day events, cumulative events, it will be up to the community whether we want to add video. okay, where you have to, because those are payout series events, which will come with, financial gain, whether we want to implement video release, which means you've also got to have a video of you releasing your live fish, okay? And in the summertime, that can be tricky, okay? But it's just to protect and conserve the fish, okay? We don't want any dead fish. Usually don't have that problem in the fall because the water temperatures are cool, in terms of acclimation. We're not going to have that problem with we're not going to have that problem with lakes and reservoirs of people pulling, smallmouth from 25 feet, 30 feet down, up, and then obviously all the science takes over with the pressure of the fish. And a lot of times those fish can die. We don't have to deal with any of that, okay? Because we're in our river systems. And so we'll address that if any of that concern, does come, and we'll let the community decide about whether they want to do a video too. And all that would be is you wouldn't supply that video to Attorney X. You would just have that video, so in case there's a complaint or in case there's a dispute, okay, with any fish submitted, in that regard. And so you would have that as a backup. Yeah, my fish was alive. It wasn't dead on the board, because sometimes fish can look wonk. And still be alive. During the summertime, sometimes they'll it looks like they're dazed and confused, especially the younger fish. Looks like they're dazed and confused. And then after 15 or 20 seconds, then they just go, woo, then they go back down. Okay. And all that's about the temperature, water temperature, how long you had them out of the water, how hot it is outside, all those good things. So that's what we got. So we got 2 prize pack awards today for day 1. Okay. I will get with those guys. I think I could send an email to them directly from the Attorney X app. I'll also post it up on Facebook. But Troy Wines is your day 1 prize pack winner for best, highest length, longest length, cumulative day 1, best 5 fish. And Zach Hammersmith is your day 1 biggest Smallie winner at 18.50, 18 and a half. So we look forward to do. I know we got some guys who are going to be going out fishing today. And so we'll get some more on the board. Again, you can always reach out to me. If you would like my number, you can get my number. Simply message me, JL Scott Fishing and Eats on Facebook. You can find me on TikTok if you want to as well. Just message me and I'll shoot you my number for whatever reason. I try and add my number to every message that I'm getting now from people in the series, just so they have it in case a question arises or anything like that. You can just reach out to me. Do not hesitate to reach out to me at any time regarding any questions you might have. Because again, even though we're in the same region, we have tons of states. We have a bunch of states, and every state's kind of different. And so you might have a question about something, and I know most of the questions so far have been about, rivers. One of the questions I will address really quickly, rivers. What constitutes a river? Go over on KBF. You can listen to Chad Hoover talk about that for the river series. The river series on KBF just started yesterday as well. I think it's $25 as well. And that allows you to catch both Smallie and largemouth and compete against guys from all over the country. So you've got the Smallmouth-Only, and then you got the river, which is bipolar. You can fish for either the green fish or the bronze fish. Okay. But what constitutes a river? I will tell you this. In our series, if it is an impoundment on the river, it still constitutes as a river. Okay, we're not going to play any games with something like Bluestone is out of bounds on the new river. Nope, it's still part of the new river. They just happened to come and put some dams in there. Okay, but still a river. Okay, the water is pumping through there is river water. Okay, it's still coming down. All right, in New River's case, coming up. Okay, so if you got that, just reach out to me. But again, you're not allowed to fish, obviously, lakes and reservoirs, freestanding without anything. Okay, and so just keep that in mind. If you got a question, hit me up. Let me know. But that's where we stand on that part. We don't have many of those in those situations like they do down on the Tennessee River, where it becomes a really big issue because those are more like lakes, but they are impoundments. But that's how we're kind of different, okay, in our region. So just keep that in mind. I hope you enjoyed this update. Zach and Troy, reach out to me. and we'll get you those prize packs as soon as possible. Thanks, guys.